Your first touch is killing your attack and you don't even realize it. In FC26, defending is hard. Therefore, you need to outscore your opponent consistently. First touch is very important when it comes to scoring goals on FC26. Most players just let the ball run into their player and hope for the best. But in FC26, that tiny moment decides if you break through or lose possession. Before I show you how to master first touch in game, you need to learn these following first touch tricks. First on the list is the mistake that you all make. Guys, I say it every year and I still see it. You need to stop holding the sprint button on the first touch, because if you will hold the sprint button on the first touch, your player will take a heavy touch just like this, and that will give the opponent a chance to win the ball back. How do you fix it? You let go of the sprint when receiving the ball. Just know one thing. With your left stick, you can determine where your player will take the first touch, and you always want to take a touch towards the space. So first technique is the left stick dribbling touch. Guys, left stick dribbling touch is something that you do almost every time you take a touch on the ball. You need to perform it correctly. There is a simple rule you need to follow. Always take a touch towards the empty space. If you are not taking a touch towards the empty space, you are killing your attack. If you are taking a touch towards the defender, you're doing it wrong. Always pay attention before receiving the ball and take a touch towards the empty space. We will talk more about this, but first let me show you the new first touch trick that EA has introduced. It is called the precision touch, and this was always a thing. Now if you read the pitch notes, they have buffed it. They call it the precision touch. So basically, you are going to hold L2 button before receiving the ball, and this will give your player more control. Now before you say in the comments, oh, we have always been doing this, yes, I know that, I used to do this as well, but now it's called the precision touch and apparently it's better. Honestly, I've not noticed a lot of difference with it. Also, you can just exit in any direction while holding the precision touch button, and the player keeps the ball closer to his feet while taking the precision touch. The next technique, without wasting any time, is the strafe dribbling touch. The strafe dribbling touch is where you hold the L1 LB button before receiving the ball. This keeps the ball closer to your feet, but also makes your first touch really slow. Now see, most of you are using players who don't have good ball control. Therefore, if you play a driven pass, you can hold L1 before the first touch. It will make sure that the ball sticks closer to your feet. Fourth on the list, we have the effort dribble touch. Now, in order to perform the effort dribble touch, you need to hold the R1 RB button and then flick the right stick in any direction you want to exit. You can do it on the first touch as well. Okay, this is how it looks like. Do other pro players use it a lot in game? No, not really. But it is a useful tool to have, and if you have some space, you can definitely make use of it. Now, these are just a few techniques. What really matters is what you do in game with them. This is why you need to pay attention. You are always taking a touch on the ball, right? This goes without saying. Therefore, you need to follow these three key principles to always take the perfect first touch. Now, the first principle we are going to talk about is space. You need to recognize where the space is before taking a touch. You will see in these examples that I always take a touch towards the space. Wherever the space is, that is where we are going to take the first touch. Yes, we are going to talk about sprinting as well, but in a while. Now, talking about the space, guys, you need to pay attention to the opponent's defender. Where is he approaching you from? Here with Johan Cruyff, we can see the space is between two defenders. That is where you want to take a touch, because if I were to take a touch towards the defender like this, he would easily dispossess me. It sounds very simple, but often is the biggest difference in either scoring a goal or not scoring. This is why you need to pay attention to where you are taking the first touch. Now, before I tell you the second principle, I would really appreciate if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. Guys, the second principle is pressure. Yes, you need to pay attention to where the opponent is pressing you from. It goes hand in hand with space, but it is a little different. Take a look at this example. Now, with Vitinha, I realistically only have one passing option. So what is the best way of taking a touch? Is it over here towards my right mid or towards my CM. As you can see, my CM is already marked by another player. Therefore, it's very easy to recognize the space and then take a touch towards my right mid. Now with my cam over here, Florian Wirtz, I take a touch towards my own goal because as you can see, the defender is pressing us. There is no point of taking a risky touch over here. I can in between this space, but right now it serves me no purpose. Therefore, we will dribble towards the space and always take a touch towards the space because dribbling goes hand in hand with first touch. If you take a touch towards the space and then dribble towards that space, you will have a lot of success, right? Third is momentum. Now, momentum is very important. Either you take a sprint touch or you take a slow touch. As you can see, most of the times you don't want to be sprinting, but there are times where you want to take a sprint touch. For example, when you have space in front of you, right? See, do I take a sprint touch over here? No, I can take a sprint touch over here because I have ample of space in front of me. There is no point of slowing down. Once the defensive line is gone, it is gone. You don't need to slow down in this situation, right? Touches on the ball allow you to set up shots as well. We take a touch towards the far post so we can set up the finish shot. So this is something that you always need to keep in mind. This game is all about angles. Now here we have space, right? There is no need to slow down. We can sprint. If I tell you never sprint, I am wrong. But if you have space in front of you, hold down that R2 button. Do not kill your momentum. Read the tempo of the game. It is quick. Okay, take quick touches. If it's slow, take slow touches. Now, if you keep these three principles in mind and use these techniques in game, you will have a lot of success. But you also need to learn how to defend against them. This is why you need to check this video out here.